So the spring equinox is about setting yourself out there, putting yourself out there, expressing yourself, because the energy that you utilize and you bring into the spring equinox is the energy which is going to follow you throughout this whole year. That's right, because it's the beginning of a new cycle. So it's to do with the seasons. So it's the first start of the season, right? When we look at thoughts, for example, they are projecting from a fiery element. The element is fire by nature, so it has to project itself out as a thought is light. So light is fire, and for it to manifest, it has to go through air, and then it calms down and condenses itself slowly. Now, in the sign of Aries, when the sun is in Aries, we are at the spring equinox. The very 0 point degrees is the beginning and the entrance and the door which is being opened and projected into the world. So at that specific moment in time, you're projecting your thoughts and energies into the world, the actual earth. So in itself, you're bouncing off that energy, and that energy is going to follow you through all the way back into the sign of Pisces, which is what we've just come off. So you're going to follow through that energy. So all of that is going to give you the drive and pull to go through the year with that same frequency. Because if a thought is projected, then the thought is on the way to manifestation, because the thought has to go through its emotions, its feelings, its grounding, its rough times. And if that thought is projected from the point of the spring equinox at the precision time, specifically driven on that 0 point degree, then that thought can be altered in a way that it pushes itself right to the key where you want it to go. So if you have things that you want to manifest, if you have dreams that you want to put into play, if you have strong bonds and connections that you need to make, if you need to accomplish businesses, if you want whatever you want to do, just make sure you put it into play. Now you may ask the question, how do I put it into play? That's a good question. There's many techniques. By doing the actual work, by doing whatever that you're doing, if it's a new business or if it's a current business, then what you would do is work on that business, add to that business, create something in that business, make that business a part of your new creation so that it will add on to the energies. If it's a relationship, then you could add something into the relationship, create something, a different feeling, a different, sense of humor in the relationship, bring something new into the play. That will create something that will momentarily push your idea into the world and then into you, reflecting it back into the world. So you're going to reflect back the energy that you're sensing and sending to yourself by doing the work that you need to do to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So if it's career, do something in relation to your career. Put something into play. Everything is a play. The cosmos is a play. It's a playground. Esoterically, the most mysterious star sign in the zodiac is Leo. Because Leo is actually the sign of the infant, the child. Because the mysteries are actually in the sign of Leo. The mysteries, the mystic side of life is in the play. It's in the theatric act. It's in the actor, because the actor acts a play. He plays along, and then as he plays along, he finds the mysteries. He plays and discovers. Just like a child will discover new things and learn new things by trying out. And then the mystery is lived. So the mystery is hidden within the child. The child has the mysteries or the science to the key. So this is the key. The key is to create. To create. A thought is to create. So that spring equinox is all about creating new ideas into play. playing upon those ideas. Not now, Aries is not governed by Leo or any sort, but it's a fire sign, and it's to do with thought and ideas. Any form of fire energy is always to create, it's always to project. So this is what it means to add on to that energy of that equinox. Okay, so that's what the spring equinox will kind of give you or bring into you. So it's like it's always adding on to whatever that you're doing. And like I said, at that particular time, it gives you a blend. So it gives you like an add-on or a strength, right? It gives you that strength. The only problem, what we find, the only problem is, like I said, is Mars and Saturn. Mars is to do with the energy that's projecting itself. It's internally going inwards, so it may bring out the energy differently within you, because Mars is governed by Aries, and Aries obviously is the spring equinox, and it gives you that fiery kind of twang or build onto. So it will kind of create that twang. So it might create some contradictions within how you're feeling, and it might over explode, or it might over internalize the explosion. And then internally by internalizing that explosion, it projects out a different projection of your explosion out into people. So that could create arguments and tension. But then again, on the other hand, if you use, because planetary energies can be used positively or negatively. If you're using it positively, then you would use that energy to create something, to do something. You know, so everything can be used destructively or constructively. So you can create something by using that energy. If you know you have a lot of fire, a lot of driven energy, then what you can do is exercise, practice some kind of Tai Chi, some type of yoga, boxing, whatever. Just put that energy into creation, right? Anything fiery, do something that will kind of balance your elementary energies, or should I say your internal energy, so that way you'll be able to kind of know what's coming in, how to kind of blend that energy and make that work for you in a better way. So yes, so that's what the spring equinox is about, and I guarantee if you put that into play, I mean, should we say the next few days from now, but more so tomorrow if you utilize that, and today if you did, hopefully you did. Yeah, I did make this video quite late, but if you did utilize that energy and still utilize it now, because the energy is still strong, right until my prediction is right until the sun is closer enough to Uranus, the energy is very, very strong. Just because Uranus is an intergalactical planet, it's should I say a high octave planet. That is why I'm saying this. Any higher octave planet kind of creates that, and because it's an air planet, well, in my perspective, because it rules Aquarius, then it kind of gives it a fiery twist. It kind of switches it. What it would do, because Aquarius rules Uranus and Saturn. Now Uranus is the new child of Saturn, or the new kind of perspective of it. So it kind of gives it that electric energy. So when the sun gets closer to Uranus, it will give it like an electric shock of fire coming through. And that Mars in Libra is going to intensify that. It's going to create some kind of spin. So be ready to feel a little spin and driven energy. So utilize this energy, put that energy into motion. I mean, you know, Uranus, should we say, rules humanity. Saturn governs the government, the structure, how they build things into play. And remember that Uranus and Saturn are squaring each other in the sky. Squaring means, you know, there's a tension going through in the sky. So humanity and the government, there's always some kind of conflict between the new world, how we want to live, and how the governments are trying to structure things into play. So that tension is to do with, okay, the coming of a new age. Uranus is of that new age. We're seeing certain things that are happening, planes that are disappearing. It's weird, but there's many things that are happening constantly, and it's been seen now that there's an emergence of energy that's kind of shifting in, and that's a Uranian energy, a wake up call, a shake up of time, a feel of new energies, a rebellion force, squaring that Scorpion energy, Saturn in Scorpio. So it's creating that tension. So understand that there's a little shot going on in the world at the moment, and that is part of that double tension, and also an add-on to that spring equinox. It's going to be very interesting how it pans out. So I hope that you utilize that energy and use it right, and constructively, to build something for yourself.